Crotone, Crotone, listen, is a city and comune in Calabria, founded c. 710 BC as the Achaean colony of Crotone. It was known as Crotone from the Middle Ages until 1928, when its name was changed to the current one. In 1992 it became the capital of the newly established province of Crotone. As of July 2007, its population was 61,032. History. Crotone's Ocust was Mycalus, who came from the city of Ripes in Achaea in the northern Peloponnese. He established the city in c. 710 BC and it soon became one of the most flourishing cities of Magna Graecia, with a population between 50,000 to 80,000 around 500 BC. Its inhabitants were famous for their physical strength and for the simple sobriety of their lives. From 588 BC onwards, Crotone produced many generations of victors in the Olympics and the other Pan-Hellenic Games, the most famous of whom was Milo of Crotone. According to Herodotus, the physicians of Crotone were considered the foremost among the Greeks, among which Democedes, son of Calophon, was the most prominent in the 6th century BC. Accordingly, he traveled around Greece and ended up working in the court of Polycrates, tyrant of Samos. After the tyrant was murdered, Democedes was captured by the Persians and brought to King Darius, curing him of a dislocated ankle. Democedes' fame was, according to Herodotus, the one who prompted the prestige of Crotone's physicians. Pythagoras founded his school, the Pythagoreans, at Crotone c. 530 BC. Among his pupils were the early medical theorist Alcmaeon of Crotone and the philosopher, mathematician, and astronomer Philolaus. The Pythagoreans acquired considerable influence with the Supreme Council of 1000 by which the city was ruled. Sybaris was the rival of Crotone until 510 BC, when Crotone sent an army of 100,000 men, commanded by the wrestler Milo, against Sybaris and destroyed it. Shortly afterwards, however, an insurrection took place, by which the Pythagoreans were driven out and a democracy established. In 480 BC, Crotone sent a ship in support of the Greeks at the Battle of Salamis. But the victory of Locra and Rhegium over Crotone in the same year marked the beginning of its decline. It was replaced by Heraclius, headquarters of the Italiata League. Dionysius, the tyrant of Syracuse, aiming at hegemony in Magna Graecia, captured Crotone in 379 BC and held it for 12 years. Crotone was then occupied by the Bratii, with the exception of the citadel, in which the chief inhabitants had taken refuge. These soon after surrendered, and were allowed to withdraw to Locra. In 295 BC, Crotone fell to another Syracusan tyrant, Agathocles. When Pyrrhus invaded Italy, it was still a considerable city, with 12 miles of walls, but after the Pyrrhic War, half the town was deserted. What was left of its population submitted to Rome in 277 BC. After the Battle of Cannae in the Second Punic War, Crotone was betrayed to the Brutii by a democratic leader named Aristomachus and defected the Roman side. Hannibal made it his winter quarters for 3 years and the city was not recaptured until 205 or 204 BC. In 194 BC, it became the site of a Roman colony. Little more is heard of it during the Republican and Imperial periods, though the action of one of the more significant surviving fragments of the Satyricon of Petronius is set in Crotone. Around 550, the city was unsuccessfully besieged by Totila, king of the Ostrogoths. At a later date it became a part of the Byzantine Empire. Around 841, the Republic of Venice sent a fleet of 60 galleys to assist the Byzantines in driving the Arabs from Crotone, but it failed. About 870, it was sacked by the Saracens, who put to death the bishop and many people who had taken refuge in the cathedral but were not able to occupy the city. Over 100 years later, Otto II, Holy Roman Emperor, mounted a campaign in southern Italy to reduce the power of the Byzantines. Later on, Crotone was conquered by the Normans. Thereafter it shared the fate of the Kingdom of Naples, including the period of Spanish rule of which the 16th-century castle of Charles V, overlooking modern Crotone, serves as a reminder, and its successor, the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies, which was conquered by the Kingdom of Sardinia in 1860 and incorporated into the new Kingdom of Italy in 1861. Crotone's location between the ports of Taranto and Messina, as well as its proximity to a source of hydroelectric power, favored industrial development during the period between the two world wars. In the 1930s its population doubled. However, after the two main employers, Pertusola Sud and Montedison, collapsed by the late 1980s, Crotone was in economic crisis, with many residents losing their jobs and leaving to find work elsewhere. In 1996, a flood dealt a further blow to the city's morale. Since that low point, the city has undergone urban renewal and risen in quality of life rankings. Main sites: the cathedral, originally from the 9th to 11th centuries, but largely rebuilt. It has a neoclassical facade, while the interior has a nave with two aisles, with Baroque decorations. Noteworthy are a baptismal font in the Madonna di Capocolonna, the icon of the Black Madonna which, according to the tradition, was brought from East in the first years of the Christian era. The 16th-century castle of Charles V. It houses the town museum, with findings excavated in the ancient site of Crotone. Notable are also the remnants of the walls, of the same century, and of various watchtowers. The ancient castle, built on an island, with accessibility on foot limited to a narrow strip of land, is referred to as La Castella. Transportation: Crotone Airport is served by Italiatour.it and other charter airlines. Crotone also has a railway station, although much of the tourism traffic is served by the Salerno-Reggio Calabria Highway and the national road leading all the Ionic coast from Taranto to Reggio Calabria. In recent time, Crotone Port has been used by visitors on yacht charter cruising vacations. Museums: Crotone hosts a National Archaeological Museum, a Municipal Museum, a Municipal Art Gallery, and a Provincial Museum of Contemporary Art, as well as the Antiquarium di Torneo. Sport: FC Crotone is a football club in Serie B. Notable people: Milo of Crotone, Astylos of Crotone, Democedes of Crotone, Caliphon of Crotone, Phaelos of Crotone, Philippus of Crotone, Alcmaeon of Crotone, Arinote, Philolaus of Crotone, Pythagoras, Vincenzo Scaramuzza, Rino Gaetano, Sergio Camarilla, Vincenzo Iaquinta, Ortolian. Literary reference: Crotone appears in the Philippine national epic Florent at Laura as the Kingdom of Crotona. The poem narrates this as the homeland of the protagonist Florent's mother, Princess Floresca. In Petronius a Satyricon, which survives in fragments, the narrator and his friends arrive at Crotone, famous for its legacy hunters. The narrator's companion, the manic poet Eumolpus, poses as a childless, rich old man. Upon arrival to the city, Philomela, a citizen of Crotone, seduces Eumolpus by means of her children. The extant portion of the Satyricon ends with Eumolpus explaining that the people of Crotone must agree to eat his dead body if they wish to claim his inheritance. Climate: Crotone enjoys a Mediterranean climate. International relations: Twin towns, sister cities. Crotone is twinned with Janitsa, Macedonia, Greece since 2010.